Trump-flation, and is this cause for concern, or is it yet again just another false alarm? That's a great question and exactly what I want to clarify for you here in the video, because yes, Trump has made a lot of promises over the last few months, and some people are suggesting that if these promises come into fruition, we may be seeing another massive inflation spike. Now, first off, the question is, are they inflationary in the first place? And if so, if they do cause inflation, how much is it going to go up yet again? Because we certainly don't need that right now. Well, again, that's what I want to focus on. Let's jump into the details. All right, so let me rattle off really quickly here just a handful of some of the promises Trump has made over the last few months here. And let's talk about after in a second here, if these are actually going to be inflationary and how much inflation we could possibly see as a result of these if they are going to be inflationary in the first place. Number one, tariffs, right? You've heard a ton of talk about tariffs over the last several months here. He keeps coming out saying, 500% tariffs, or I've even seen 1,000% tariffs. I mean, seriously? I don't know about that. But in the first place, what is a tariff, right? A tariff is literally just a fee to import into our country. That's all it really is, a fee to bring stuff into our country, which we import a ton of different things, right? So at the same time, when we talk about tariffs, a lot of people say, oh, that wouldn't be inflationary. But here's the thing. I still want to be fair about this really fast. If he does add a bunch of tariffs, yes, that would actually cause a lot of revenue for the overall federal government with all of the fees coming in to bring stuff into our country. But at the end of the day, do you think that these other countries will maybe just, raise their prices just to account for the fees? I don't know. I mean, that's what a lot of businesses do. When overhead goes up, when fees go up, they raise the price and pass it on to the consumer. So at the end of the day, it may actually just raise prices. Again, we'll have to see about that. They may actually put some limitations on that as well, saying, hey, you can't add fees like that. You can't raise your prices, more than X% or whatever. Again, there's a lot of different aspects of that. And again, we'll let them figure that out and how they're actually wanting to approach this, okay? So tariffs is number one. Number two, this was a very popular one. No taxes on tips, right? So those individuals out there, they get tips from their work, whatever it is. There's a lot of professions out there that get tips, right? Well, all of these tips are taxed on the federal level and, of course, the state level as well. But he's saying, let's eliminate taxes, federal taxes on tips. Okay, will this be inflationary? I'm going to say this much. If it's inflationary, it's going to be very, very, very minimal inflation. Why? It's not enough money. We're not talking about nearly enough money for this to be inflationary. I mean, if it is, it's going to be so minimal, like 0.1% of inflation at most. It's going to be very, very minimal. If at all, I would not put that one into the inflationary category. Next, no taxes on Social Security. Now, this would be directly impacting seniors. In fact, I've talked about this before in other videos. If they did completely eliminate taxes on Social Security, would this again be inflationary? I'm going to say this much, very minimally. Maybe a teeny tiny bit, again, if it is very, very minimally, simply because we're not talking about enough money. There's, yes, tens of millions of seniors that pay taxes on their Social Security benefit, but we're not talking about like a massive amount. We're not talking like $10,000 per senior. That's not what it is. It's going to be maybe a couple $1,000s for like 10, 20, 30 million seniors. It's not going to be a ton. So therefore, it's not enough money, and it's spread out across the entire country. So it's not going to be enough money chasing too few goods and services. Therefore, it's not going to be very inflationary, okay? But however, let me just point all this out really fast. I'm just going to say this really fast. If all of these were to come into fruition, then yes, all of these coupled together may cause a little bit of inflation. And again, when I say a little bit, I'm talking like what? Maybe a point of inflation? It's not going to be a ton. Not nearly the 9.1% inflation that we saw that topped out in June of 2022. The result of all that inflation is because that they printed $6 trillion in a 1 year period of time. They're not going to be doing that here. I guarantee you that. It's not going to be the effect of $6 trillion with all of these different things between the tariffs, the no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security, and others that I'm going to talk about right now. Okay, so we won't see inflationary that high. It may cause a little bit, a point at best. It's not going to be that much, right? If it causes any in the first place at all, okay? Now next, this is another one that's out there as well, and again, we'll see about this one, but the deportation of migrants, right? Millions and millions of migrants, they're talking about, hey, we're going to start deporting like, however many millions, the numbers change all the time, but we're seeing all these numbers there. Would this be inflationary? Maybe, but if it is, again, very minimal. I would put this into the minimal category. Why? Okay, let's just say in theory, again, just giving an example here. Let's just say that they deport, say, 5 million migrants. Again, I'm just making up a number for example purposes. If these migrants are filling different job, opportunities and stuff like that, other people could come in and potentially take these positions that were potentially open at the time, maybe command higher pay, right? I'm just saying, just giving an example here, okay? Don't be mad at me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just saying, but if they were to do this, maybe these individuals that would come in and say, hey, I'll take that job, and now they fill the position, and maybe they say, hey, you were paying this other individual, say, $12 an hour or something like that. Again, I was making up numbers here. Maybe they come in and say, I'm going to require $14 an hour, something like that. Again, it's not going to be enough money chasing goods and services to actually make that much of an impact on inflation. Okay, so all of these events, in my opinion, are probably very minimally inflationary, but all coupled together, it may actually translate into a little bit of inflation, but they're all very minimal inflation based on my opinion and what we're seeing here, okay? Now next would be the expansion and the extension of the TCJA, which is the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. This is what Trump did in his first term. They passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and I would be willing to bet 100% that they will extend this out because they have that control, and they will certainly be extending this because they are supposed to end at the end of 2025. The tax cuts that they implemented about, 7-8 years ago or so, are supposed to be sunsetting the end of 2025. They will 100% pass these, and they will 100% extend these out further into the future. If that's the case, again, will this be inflationary? Kind of depends, because when they cut taxes, what happens? More money stays in the pockets of consumers. You and me and businesses, small, medium, and large, everybody has more money. When there are less taxes imposed, it simply means less money goes from our pocket, our bank account, into the pockets and the bank accounts of the IRS, right? So when they do that, it's more money for us to spend. What causes inflation? More money chasing goods and services. That's literally what it is. It's just like an auction, right? When you have money on the sidelines, chasing up and driving up prices, bidding prices up like on an auction, that's literally what happens. That's what causes inflation, is too much money, okay? So again, could this be inflationary? Could be, a little bit. But again, all of these coupled together will cause maybe a little bit of inflation. Any one of these, take your pick, any of these that I just rattled off, in and of itself is not going to be very inflationary. Very, 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 very minimal, if at all. But if they were to do all of these, how many did I just rattle off? Tariffs, no taxes on tips. I'm counting on my fingers, by the way. No taxes on Social Security, deportation of migrants, and TCJA. Okay, there's 5 of them. 5 of them that I just talked about here in this video. If they were to implement all 5 of these at the same time, then yep, we would probably see some inflation. It's going to be 9.1% like what we saw in June of 2022. Not a chance. Not a chance. It will not happen. We will not see inflation, not nearly that much, because we're not talking about $6 trillion. We'd be talking about, I don't know, 100 billion? I don't even know what the number would be. It would not be anywhere near 6 trillion, okay? We printed $6 trillion, 22% of our money supply in 12 months. No wonder why we saw so much inflation and why we're still dealing with it today. Too much money in the system. That's what happened, right? Anyway, it's a supply and demand thing. Always supply and demand. When you have way too much supply called money chasing too few services and products called demand, you get price increases. Just how it works, right? Anyway, I hope this helps you. But again, I want to talk through the details here. I've been seeing some headlines on this, and you know what? Thought it might be kind of an interesting topic to talk about. So I will keep you posted on this. By the way, I don't foresee all 5 of these to be passed. Whether they are or not, I don't foresee all 5 of these coming into fruition at the same time. So if these are spread out a little bit, again, the inflationary impact becomes less and less and less. So anyway, so where we're at right now. I'll keep you posted on all this, and keep an eye on everything for you closely as we move forward over the coming days, weeks, and months here. We've got a lot going on right now. A lot of things are transpiring. A lot of things are changing. Either way, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Big subscribe button waiting for you down below. Make sure to hit that only if you haven't done so, or if you're new here. Thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, feel free to share the video. There's a share button right down below as well. Feel free to share this video with your friends on my social media. If you can think of 1 or 2 people that would benefit from this information or find this to be valuable, please share this video with them. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Otherwise, like the video, big thumbs up button down below. Check out the other 5,000 plus videos here on the channel in the video library. The popular videos I've hand selected for you down below in the description at the top of the comment section. And right now showing up on your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Thanks again. Take your pick. Have a good day. I hope this helps, and I will catch you again later in the next